Said many times that the U.S. is doing far better than any other country when it comes to testing.
Yes.
Why does that matter? Why is this a global competition to you if every day Americans are still losing their lives and we're still seeing more cases every day?
Well, they're losing their lives everywhere in the world. And maybe that's a question you should ask China. Don't ask me, ask China that question, okay? When you ask them that question, you may get a very unusual answer. Yes, behind you, please.
Sir, why are you saying that to me specifically?
I'm telling you, I'm not saying it specifically to anybody. I'm saying it to anybody that would ask a nasty question like that.
That's not a nasty question.
Please go ahead.
Why does it matter?
Okay, anybody else? Please, go ahead in the back, please.
I have two questions.
No, it's okay.
But
We'll
you
go
pointed
here.
to me. I have two questions, Mr. President.
Next, please.
But you called on me.
I did, and you didn't respond, and now I'm calling on
Sorry, I just
the young lady in the back, please.
I just wanted to let my colleague finish.
Okay.
But can I ask you a
Ladies and
question,
gentlemen,
please?
thank you very much. Appreciate
But
it.
you called
Thank you
on
very
me.
much.
Just a complete collapse. Joining us now, Democratic Senator Mazie Hirono of Hawaii. She's a member of both the Armed Services and Judiciary Committees. Good morning. We'll start right there.
Good morning.
What the heck happened? What's your response to that exchange between the president and those two women reporters, one of them obviously an Asian American?
He sees an Asian person who asks a question that he doesn't want to answer, and the true xenophobic Trump comes out, and he calls it a nasty question. I mean, he's called me nasty. He's called me various kinds of names. He can't handle women, particularly strong women. And we know that Trump is xenophobic, and it comes out time and again.
What is your concern about behavior like this, especially when it comes to the president of the United States and racism in this country, drumming it up?
We all know that racism against Asian Americans is on the rise. There are more hate crimes against Asian Americans. When you have a president who calls it the Chinese virus, when you have members of his administration calling it the Kung flu, etc., and the president has not made it plain that we condemn anti-Asian racist attacks, but he doesn't do that strongly enough, obviously, and so we have seen a rise in hate crimes against Asians. You have total strangers knifing people because they think that they brought the virus into our country, and you have all kinds of actions in this way, and the president knows this. He knows that what he says matters. It provokes these kinds of responses in people who think that they can act on the kinds of words that the president uses, and very divisive. I mean, I have been called Tokyo Rose, for example. Now that's racist. But the president does this all the time. He is a divider. He is not a unifier. And in a time of this pandemic, he's doing the same thing that he's done from the very beginning of his presidency.
And tell us about what you're proposing, especially in light of this pandemic and the sort of surge in racism that you believe you might be seeing.
In light of the increased numbers of anti-Asian racism in our country, Kamala Harris and I and others have put together a resolution condemning these kinds of racist acts and calling on the administration, all of the administrative agencies, to be much more proactive in combating racism and investigating racism, and especially for the DOJ to prosecute hate crimes. And this is why I have written to the Department of Justice, to the CDC, to the Civil Rights Commission, because we're not asking these agencies to do anything different than what they did, for example, during the SARS time, when the CDC put together a multidisciplinary team to reach out to communities who were being targeted. And same thing after 9/11, you had the DOJ coming forward to say that they were not going to condone attacks against Muslims. You had the President of the United States, George Bush, stepping up and saying that we will not condone attacking Muslims. None of those kinds of actions emanate from this administration, and certainly not from this president, who is the guy who gives out these kinds of xenophobic cues to his agencies as well as to the entire country.
Willie.
Senator Hirono, it's Willie Geist. Great to have you on this
Hi, Willie.
morning. You've been focused over your time in the Senate on veterans issues as a member of the Veterans Affairs Committee.
Yes.
We've been reporting this morning on what's happening at a lot of these long-term care facilities for veterans.
Yes.
Specifically in Paramus, New Jersey, where 72 veterans, most of them Vietnam and Korean War veterans, have died. Another facility in Holyoke, Massachusetts, the number is 80 there. You can go all over the country and find devastation. What can we do? What can the government do better to stop something that is already out of control, but to at least slow it down and stop it where it is now?
It's such a tragedy with regard to the veterans because they've already given so much to this country. But in any facility, such as veterans' homes or long-term care facilities, we have seen an inordinate number of these deaths. And clearly, we need to do a lot more to provide resources so that there can be protective gear. We still don't have enough PPEs. We do not have a national testing program. We don't have a national program to make sure that supplies are adequately distributed. It all starts with the president saying, this is not my responsibility. And so all the governors in our states, including my own governor, have had to vie with each other for PPEs and other resources. There should be a national program. There should be resources, more resources to these entities, to these facilities, as well as to our healthcare providers, by the way. They need more support to be prepared and to be ready, because this pandemic is not over. Just listen to Dr. Fauci. You know, in spite of all the lies being spewed by the president so that he can protect his own okole, as I put it, we need to listen to the doctors. We need to listen to the professionals who are telling us that the sheltering in place, which again, the president encourages people to come out and fight against those kinds of requirements being imposed by their governors. But we need to listen to the medical professionals, and we need to understand what we need to do. And that is, by the way, when we put on masks, that is to protect others mainly from being infected by us. That is the kind of America that I want to live in, where we actually care about each other and not just our own selfish selves.
All right, Senator Mazie Hirono, thank you. And on the issue of masks, Willie, I don't know if you noticed, but everyone in the White House and the reporters, they're all wearing masks now. For some reason, it took a number of people actually getting the coronavirus in the White House for the president to understand that actually masks need to be worn, but yet he doesn't wear them.
Yeah, he didn't wear one yesterday, and as Shannon Pettypiece and others noted, looking around yesterday, Secret Service agents, staffers, most other people at the White House now wearing it because, as you pointed out, coronavirus has hopped the White House fence. 2 infections there. White House on high alert for that, but the president, as we know through reporting, views wearing a mask as a sign of weakness and running counter to the narrative that he wants to get out there, the wishful narrative that this is behind us and we can move on and open the country.
Yep, the president flouts his own rules and endangers the people working in his White House. Good luck to them. That does it for us this morning. Stephanie Ruhle picks up the coverage right now.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.